Okay, so you got the Fred Gressler invite coming up at White Plains High School. Here's the White Plains High School facility. And from above, it looks like a fairly flat course, but it is most certainly not. Let me give you a quick preview of it. Basically, what you're working with is White Plains alongside a hill. Here's 127 North Street. Here's White Plains. We'll enter over here. Your parents could try parking over here. It's usually not taken up. Then, as you head right and up on this, or as we'll call it once we're there, down the hill, basically that's what happens. This is the high point where the high school is located, and as you head toward the track, it goes downhill. So, very top level is up here, this baseball field up here. Then, you get a mid-level, which is around the tennis courts and right alongside the school. That also extends over here by this tree line, which you will run through. Then there's a next level down, which is this field here, straight across to this field. It's a big part of the course. You get a gentle slope over to this field, but then this one right next to the track is really a next level down again. You can kind of see that this is a hill here and that this is a hill here. So you're really working with the lowest level, then one level up, then a half level up, and then the full level up over here. And so there are a number of transitions during this course. Left, right, I suppose, on this image. Maybe we can rotate it a little. And those transitions are going to be hills. So let's follow this course. Let me run you through it. Starting line is over here. We'll have our tent set up somewhere around here. This area by the baseball field, really off to the grass here a bit. So starting line is here. It's not a long way to the start. You come straight across this open field and it pinches to a narrow opening right there. Notice that's a tenth of a mile in. If you look in the top left, you get the mileage. So at that point, everyone coalesces and you get a little bloop. This is a little uphill right here and then downhill. And then you essentially head flat out all the way across the field to the end of this field. Roughly like that. And you see you're already over a quarter mile there. So you get basically a quarter mile straight shot with a little road bump in the middle. Make a left around here and you come up alongside this tree line. This is uphill, but it is not extreme. So you have an uphill path here. Then you have a pretty steep downhill. Sort of zags you back. Wrap around the flags and you will head back across the field toward the start again. Now what you find is right here, this spot is a hill. So actually on the way out, you drop down. And on the way back, you hug closer to the school. You get a steep little, not particularly long, but a steep little bump up there. You come alongside the school. Notice we're past the half-mile mark. You hook a right turn. Everyone will be over here yelling for you. There'll be some food and some shirts and things for sale over here. You might be able to get inside for the bathroom around here or this door over here. But you come up this path, and yes, spikes are fine. Come up this path, and you will follow the perimeter of this upper baseball field. So this baseball field is flat. Obviously, it's a baseball field. And then you'll come around the outside of the field here. And beware, this is a little bit of a funny spot. You drop down this hill, and it's really like a hairpin turn onto this pathway alongside the tennis courts. Now, along here is about the mile mark. You know, that says 0.95 over here. I probably lost a little bit in the turns, but this is around the mile mark, midway in those tennis courts. This is a downhill. You will continue downhill, 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 and now you're at that second level. Here on the map, it just said a mile. I think, again, that mile's a little before this. You come around the perimeter here. You go into the woods. There's a funny little kind of cut off and cut back. And it kicks you out along the woods line right near the start. You will continue on a downhill past the start and run the perimeter of this field. Now this is pretty flat. Got a little bit uphill. There's a little pass through right here. Now at this pass through, This downhill, there are spots that are paved. Most runners will still wear spikes and either run alongside the pavement or just run on it with the spikes. And that's why we have replacements. They get worn down. You'll run the perimeter of this field. So you're going to get a downhill right here. And then this is flat all the way across. You zoom out and fix that. That should be straight. You go all the way across till down here. You make a left turn, and now you hit what's called the wall. So this is quite steep. That little smidge right there, that's quite steep. By the way, you're about halfway, about a mile and a half into the race. You're going to make a right turn at the top of the wall. There's a scoreboard here. People will be yelling for you here. That's where you surge. That's where you make up. You want to make up a few seconds that mile? It has to happen over this straightaway here, which essentially now you're going to repeat exactly what you just did, minus the starting stretch. So you're going to go around this field again. You're going to come up the tree line. You're going to zag down the hill. That's a steep downhill. Quick right. You're going to come back toward the school. Up the hill alongside the school. Head back up to the top baseball field. So the same exact path. And right around here should be the 2-mile mark. You know, on this map, I think it's going to mark it a little bit late. And they have it up here. I believe it's closer to this tree. Around the field again. Back over here. You get a quick hairpin turn. Back down the hill past the tennis courts. Back alongside the trees into the woods. And back down along this lower field. Notice where we are, 2.5 miles in. So you got a little more than half mile to go at this point. You're going to navigate around the perimeter of this lowest field again. And then the bottom, boom, you're coming right up this monster again. This hill. Now, this will send you again to the right, straight out here. And then you make a hairpin turn. You go all the way out, and we're going to have somebody out there making sure. You come straight back now on the field. And this is about a 1/4 mile or so to get you to the finish. Straight back. A little uphill right here. We'll be yelling at you. Straight back along the start. And there's your 3-mile mark. And then coming back, if you remember, the start was a blip up. This one's a nice drop down. And people really hustle to the finish, which is about halfway to the start, somewhere around here. You know, there's your 3.1 roughly. And it's a quick finish. You know, you come off that hill, you're really hustling. So to be clear, this whole field here, the finish, running from this corner all the way back, is about a 1/4 mile. It's about a 1/4 mile. And so if you want to talk about a 300 drop, if we back up from the finish, you're talking about kind of as you crest that little hill here, you got about 100 to go. As you crest the previous hill, you got about 200 to go. And maybe over here, you know, we'll be hollering at you a little past the ascent for the wall. You got about 300 to go. So pick up, and all out. And that's it. There's your 5K. Freshmen, you have a similar version. You start the same way. You go all the way out, wrap around, up the tree line, down, come along here around the upper field, past the tennis courts, around the lower field, all the way around here. You too get the wall. You get the joy of the wall, up the wall, and then you just finish. So at this point, there's no second loop. You just turn and come straight back to the finish. It's about 1.5 miles, a little bit more. All right, there's your course.